A reward from the crown prince. I risked my life to save him. His Majesty asked what reward I wanted. My ears turned red. I looked at the elegant and graceful crown prince. I was just about to ask the emperor for a marriage decree when I suddenly heard my maid's inner thoughts from behind me. Whatever you do, please don't ask for a marriage decree. My dear young lady, the crown prince's true love is Shininue. That dog of a prince can't bear to lose the general's support, but he also can't bear for his beloved to be a mere concubine. The first thing he'll do after ascending the throne is execute 9 generations of the Chu family, all 742 of them. He won't even spare the nursing dog at home. I was completely shocked. When the emperor asked me once more what reward I wanted, I hurriedly blurted out, "I want a hammer." The emperor and the crown prince were speechless. During the court banquet, 2 assassins disguised as servants attempted an assassination. The personal guards formed a semicircle, protecting his majesty. It happened so suddenly. The crown prince's side was left unguarded, leaving a gap. Seeing the crown prince in grave danger, I grabbed a wine cup from the table and threw it at the assassin. The assassin stumbled for a moment. I made a split-second decision and shielded the crown prince. The imperial guards arrived just in time. They finally captured the assassins. His majesty was delighted. He looked at me kindly and asked, "Miss Chu, tell me yourself, what reward do you want from me?" "Whatever you ask, I shall grant it." Everyone in the capital knew I was infatuated with the crown prince. Many people were already glancing at the crown prince. Some were already whispering guesses, saying I would use this gratitude to force a request and ask his majesty to decree a marriage between the crown prince and me. I also looked at the crown prince. I saw him dressed in regal yellow and gold, his noble robe making him look peerlessly refined. So what if I used gratitude to force a request? I grew up as a childhood friend of the crown prince. I truly loved him. The thought of being by the crown prince's side every day in the future made my heart throb wildly. I was just about to ask for the marriage decree when I suddenly heard my maid's inner thoughts behind me. "Whatever you do, please don't ask for a marriage decree. My dear young lady, the crown prince's true love is Miss Shin. That dog of a prince doesn't want to lose the general's support, but he can't bear to let his beloved be a side consort." I was shocked that Hong Ying would speak so wildly in front of the emperor. I forced myself to stay calm and turned to look at her. I saw her lips weren't moving at all. She stood there with her head bowed submissively. Seeing that others didn't seem to hear Hong Ying's thoughts, I was just starting to feel relieved when Hong Ying's roaring wail echoed in my mind again. The first thing he'll do after he takes the throne is wipe out the 9 generations of the Chu family. Exactly 742 lives. He won't even spare the nursing dog at home. Wipe out 9 generations of the Chu family. Those words exploded in my brain like a bolt of lightning. I suppressed my emotions and carefully observed the crown prince. I saw him frequently glancing in Shininue's direction. Even though there was some distance from Shininue, I could clearly see that the woman was crying piteously. The crown prince, whose face was usually like an unmelting ice mountain, now had eyes swirling with emotion. The two of them really were deeply in love, just as Hong Ying said. Perhaps my gaze toward the crown prince was too intense because he sensed it and turned around. I met his eyes and saw a hint of disgust in them. So his lack of love for me was that obvious. How hateful that I was blinded by my own passion, and nearly killed my entire clan and even a litter of puppies. Seeing me dazed, the emperor didn't blame me. He patiently asked again what reward I wanted. My father nudged me from the side to remind me. I quickly said, "I want a hammer." Upon hearing this, my father started coughing uncontrollably. I was worried the old man might cough himself to death. Seeing the disbelief on everyone's faces, I repeated it, saying I heard that the Tuba kingdom sent a 1,000-gene hammer as a tribute. I have admired it for a long time. I beg your majesty to bestow it upon me. I was born with supernatural strength. At 3, I could draw a heavy bow. At 5, the great stone lion at the general's gate. I could lift it over my head. At 7, in tug of war, I alone could defeat 20 uncles of deputy general rank. I knew the weapons in the general's residence like the back of my hand, but they always felt light as feathers to me. They weren't comfortable to use. Regarding my strange strength, my father was the most delighted. He said I had his spirit from back in the day, but my mother worried that my strength would ruin my reputation and marriage prospects. Usually, she wouldn't let me touch weapons. When I was little, I couldn't control my power well. I once tore the crown prince's clothes, leaving him barely covered. He often said I was as strong as a man, and very crude, unlike other delicate young ladies who were like fragile willows. Thinking back now, the crown prince never actually liked me. It was just my one-sided wishful thinking. A bitter feeling spread from my chest to my mouth. But fortunately, the big mistake hadn't been made yet. There was still time for everything. Following the motto of never pass up a good deal. Since I couldn't ask for a marriage, then asking for a hammer wasn't bad either. Besides, I really had been curious about that 1,000-gene hammer for a long time. The emperor subtly looked between me and the crown prince. Finally, he spoke, bestowing the 1,000-gene hammer upon me. He also rewarded me with 10,000 taels of gold. I sat in the carriage, clutching the hammer, feeling like I was in a dream. Hong Ying was much happier than she had been before entering the palace. Tra-la-la, the 9 generations won't be wiped out. So happy. Tonight, I'm going to eat an extra bowl of rice. No, 2 extra bowls. The cheerful little tune in Hong Ying's head even lightened the bitterness in my own heart. My family is alive, and my clan is safe. That is more important than anything. My girl, I thought you would ask His Majesty To arrange the marriage with the crown prince. I didn't expect you not to mention a word about it. Father asked me with a look of confusion. Father, haven't you always disliked the idea of me being with the crown prince? Father hesitated for a moment before speaking. Even though your father is a rough man, I could see that you truly loved the crown prince. But as a general, I hold great military power. The emperor does not like the family of a future crown princess to be too powerful. I never cared about military power. If you really became the crown princess, I would have returned the tiger tally to the emperor and retired to the countryside. My dear girl, the crown prince's heart isn't with you. You have always been simple-minded. If you entered the Eastern Palace without the prince's love and protection, you would surely face a difficult life. Your mother and I didn't want you trapped in that place. Besides, my Anan deserves the best man in the world. Only when someone treats you like a precious treasure would we be willing to let you marry. Otherwise, you can just stay at the general's residence forever. We have enough money to take care of you for life. Hearing my father's words, the last bit of soreness in my heart turned into tears and fell. My feelings for the crown prince vanished completely. My parents view me as a priceless treasure, while the one I loved viewed me as a plague. I am now incredibly grateful I didn't ask for that marriage. Don't worry, I no longer have any feelings for the crown prince. I idly stroked the patterns on the 1000-gene hammer, testing its weight. It really was a fine hammer. Father, let's spar once we get home. Hey, girl. My father marveled at how fast my mood changed. Spare your father's old bones, will you? I still want to spend a few more years with your mother. He'll drop you off at the military camp ahead so you can play with your brother. Hee, okay. Just as I entered the camp, I saw everyone running toward the back mountain with anxious looks. I stopped someone. What happened? The 9th prince and the general were ambushed in the back mountain. We're heading there now to rescue them. The man finished and ran off. If something happened to the 9th prince in my brother's camp, my brother would be blamed for negligence. At best, he'd be exiled. At worst, beheaded. I quickly told Hong Ying, wait for me here. I'm going to help my brother. Miss. Before Hong Ying could finish, I rushed toward the back mountain with my hammer. My father had taught me tracking skills. It was a scouting technique. I observed the marks in the grass as I ran. Soon, I found an abnormality. The grass here had just been trampled. There were a few drops of blood on the leaves. Someone was wounded. The footsteps were light and unstable. Not far from him, 4 or 5 people were following behind. These people had excellent martial arts skills. They only left faint traces when they pushed off for speed. I gripped my hammer and sped forward. Finally, I spotted them a few hundred meters ahead. 4 masked men were surrounding a person on the ground. I shouted, stop. One of them turned and rushed at me. I stomped on the ground, leapt into the air, and swung the giant hammer, creating a dull roar like rolling thunder. The man tried to dodge, thinking the weight of the hammer would slow down my attack. But I was born with divine strength. The giant hammer was as light as a dagger in my hands. I quickly adjusted my aim and swung at him. He couldn't dodge in time and took a direct hit. He died instantly without even letting out a groan. In the face of absolute power, all techniques are useless. Seeing this, the remaining 3 used their lightfoot skills to flee. I walked toward the person on the ground and helped him up. Luckily, he only had a leg wound and no vital organs were hit. The man's face was pale from blood loss, which gave him a delicate, fragile beauty. He was actually a bit more handsome than the crown prince. I swallowed hard and asked, 9th prince, are you alright? The 9th prince curled his lips slightly. I'm fine. Thank you for saving me, Miss Chu. You know me? Strange, I don't remember ever meeting the 9th prince. I've seen Miss Chu a few times before. It's just that your eyes were only on the crown prince. He said the last part so softly that I didn't hear it clearly. Huh? What did you say? A flicker of complexity passed through his eyes. Nothing. Since he didn't want to say, I didn't ask further. I crouched down in front of him and patted my back. Prince, we can't stay here long. Get on, I'll carry you back. As soon as I said that, the tips of his ears turned slightly red. There's no need. I can walk on my own. He then limped past me. Hey, who is he looking down on? Did he think I couldn't carry him? I stepped forward and grabbed his wrist, and as he tilted back, I picked him up in a bridal carry. After picking him up, I bounced him a few times in my arms. Child's play. I could carry 2 of you with no problem. He looked at me, full of disbelief, his face flushing red. He even started to stutter. Miss Chu, please put me down quickly. Men and women should not have such close contact. If we're dead, what use are those formalities? The assassins might have accomplices. Every minute we stay here is another minute of danger. The 9th prince's body went stiff as a board. His voice got softer and softer. Then I'll have to trouble you, Miss Chu. Why was this man acting like a shy young girl? I continued. Hold me tight. The 9th prince's ears were so red they looked like they might bleed. He hesitated for a moment, then wrapped his arms around my neck. I immediately held him and sped back toward the camp. I was anxious to get back, so I didn't see that behind my back. He signaled the secret guards to retreat. 15 minutes later, I ran into Hong Ying, who was waiting anxiously outside the camp. I had blood on me, so Hong Ying thought I was hurt. She ran toward me in a panic. Miss, are you injured? She then glared at the 9th prince in my arms with dissatisfaction. Then, I heard Hong Ying's inner voice. This pretty boy is so shameless. Miss is injured, yet he still lets her carry him. The 9th prince seemed to sense Hong Ying's hostile gaze. He whispered softly in my ear, Miss Chu, put me down. I can walk myself. As he leaned closer, the cool scent of pine hit my nose. I nodded in a daze but didn't let go. We're only a few steps away. I'll take you inside the tent first. I turned to reassure Hong Ying. This isn't my blood. The ninth prince is injured. Go quickly and bring the military doctor. Hong Ying responded and started running. Oh my god, he's that crazy and obsessive. Bloodthirsty ninth prince? He just looked at me. My scalp is tingling. Did I fail to control my expression just now? Did he see through me? Whimper, miss, you must save my poor life. Miss Chu, you and your maid seem to have a good relationship. Hong Ying grew up with me. I treat her like a sister. If she offended you, ninth prince, please do not blame her. I do not blame her. I looked at the ninth prince in my arms. He was so handsome. But why did Hong Ying say he was bloodthirsty? The ninth prince seemed to feel my gaze. He turned to look at me. His face was slightly red, like a startled white rabbit. He asked softly, what is it? I caught my breath. I smiled at him. No, nothing. Even if he killed people, it must have been because they provoked him. After all, even a rabbit bites when cornered. Others saw the ninth prince return and fired a signal flare into the sky, notifying my brother to return to camp. By the time my brother arrived, the doctor was already dressing the ninth prince's wound. As soon as my brother entered, he knelt on one knee and cupped his hands. I am late to the rescue. Please forgive me, your highness. Everyone in the tent knelt with my brother. The ninth prince raised his right hand. There's no need for such formalities. Everyone, please rise. It was a sudden incident. General Chu, do not blame yourself. I was saved by Miss Chu today. I will keep this in my heart. When I return to the palace, I will report this to father. He would ensure my brother wouldn't be punished. Your highness is too kind. Protecting you is our duty. The ninth prince had a faint smile on his lips. My brother glanced at me. I rubbed my nose and lowered my head guiltily. After the ninth prince left, my brother got very angry. He scolded me for being reckless and impulsive, saying that if anything happened to me, how could he face our parents? Seeing my distracted look, he threatened me through gritted teeth, saying he'd confiscate my 1000-gene hammer. What? That scared me into focusing immediately. I began to repent sincerely to him. After promising multiple times not to be reckless again, he finally, reluctantly, let me off. When we returned home, the family had just received the rewards from the emperor. Besides that, Princess Chaoyang had sent me an invitation for next month's flower viewing banquet. The four of us, my family, huddled together, forming a circle with our shoulders touching. I had a long face and sighed. Family, I don't want to go to the princess banquet. The poetry, painting, and flower arranging that those noble ladies do, I can't do any of it. It'll be so boring. My brother raised an eyebrow. Tell me, is it because you still have feelings for the crown prince? I do not. My dear daughter, let's forget about the crown prince. Your father is right. In my opinion, the banquet will have plenty of talented young men from noble families. You can take your pick. Sweetheart, if you don't like scholars, how about I find you a young general? I agree. There are many fine young men in the camp too. I'll keep an eye out for Weiwei. The three of them went on and on. I couldn't get a single word in. The noise made my head spin. Finally, I threw up my hands in surrender. Fine, fine, fine. I'll go. I'll go. Is that enough? My brother broke his word. He deliberately exaggerated everything to our parents, saying how reckless I was to rescue the ninth prince, and how dangerous it was. He scared them so much they clutched their chests, and ordered me to be grounded at home. How hateful. That same night, I shaved off the manes of my brother's war horses. Let him ride a bald horse to the camp. When the ninth prince heard I was grounded, he collected all sorts of interesting things for me, from large items like weapons from the western regions and rare martial arts manuals to small things like imperial snacks and grasshoppers made of straw from the streets. He sent everything imaginable. Every day, I looked forward to what new novelty the ninth prince would send. It was hard on Hong Ying, who had to run back and forth every day to fetch things for me. Her face would scrunched up every time. She wanted to throw away all the gifts, because she believed the ninth prince was too calculating, and feared he had ill intentions toward me. But I didn't think so. The ninth prince lived in the palace, and his mother died of illness when he was young. A small child without a mother's protection would have to be clever to survive until today. On the day of the flower viewing banquet, Hong Ying dragged me out of bed early in the morning to dress and groom me. My lady is just too beautiful. Good thing she didn't end up with that dog prince. Ever since I could hear Hong Ying's thoughts, I'd hear her trashing the crown prince every day, or saying some very strange things. I was afraid others would think Hong Ying was a demon, so I never told anyone that I could hear her thoughts. When we arrived at the princess' back garden, I took Hong Ying and avoided the crowds, heading toward a quiet area. Princess Chaoyang had always been at odds with me because neither of us knew anything about poetry. We both preferred martial arts, but since I was competitive since childhood, I never flattered her like others did. In my eyes, so what if she was a princess? If you want first place on the training grounds, you have to earn it with your own skill. In horse riding and archery, I crushed Princess Chaoyang every time, so our encounters were always like a needle against a whetstone. Neither of us would back down. Just like right now, Princess Chaoyang, Shenin Yue, and a group of noble ladies were walking toward us. Princess Chaoyang stepped forward aggressively. Enemies truly meet on narrow paths. I curtsied to Princess Chaoyang. Chu Xianwei, greetings to Her Highness the Princess. After the greeting, I stood aside with my head bowed. Princess Chaoyang certainly wouldn't miss a chance to kick me while I was down. Some toads really want to eat swan meat, pestering my brother the Crown Prince all day long, thinking they can get close to him. Who would have thought my brother only has eyes for Sister Inoue? Shen Inoue shyly said, Princess, please don't talk nonsense. You're embarrassing me. I'm not talking nonsense. My brother personally asked mother for a marriage decree. God bless our young lady not to have her love brain act up. Shoo, shoo. Dog Prince, stay away from my young lady. I was speechless. For a moment, everyone's eyes were on me. In the midst of the sarcasm, there were a few mean-spirited giggles. Perhaps because I didn't respond, Princess Chaoyang asked knowingly, Chu Xianwei, what do you think about the marriage between my brother and Sister Inoue? Shen Inoue covered her mouth and smiled, a hint of triumph in her eyes. I remained calm and congratulated Shen Inoue. A match made in heaven. Congratulations, Miss Shen. Princess Chaoyang was stunned. She probably didn't expect such a flat reaction from me. Feeling bored, she led the noble ladies away. I rubbed my hands together and walked greedily toward Wanli Pool. Hong Ying, let's go. I'm taking you to catch some big carp. Those big carp, raised by Princess Chaoyang, are quite plump. They must be delicious. Hong Ying, standing nearby, was dumbfounded. To think I was worried my lady would be depressed after being scolded. Who knew her appetite would just open up instead? Miss, isn't this a bad idea? I heard those koi are the princess' absolute favorites. Humph, eating her favorites is exactly the point. Who told her to poke at my sore spots with every word just now? In Wanli Pool, the colorful koi were vigorously wiggling their thick, fleshy tails. I pointed at the fattest red koi and bragged. This one would be best roasted, all juicy and oily. That one should be deep fried with salt and pepper until crispy. How dare you? Who are you to even dream of touching the princess' precious koi? Just as I was happily making plans, a girl appeared from nowhere. Glaring at me with rage, I picked my ear and looked at her. And who are you? Which eye did you see me touch the princess koi with? I heard it clearly. You wanted to roast and fry the koi. Just you wait, I'm telling the princess. I barked back, suit yourself. Then, I started to stride away, but the girl pestered me, anxiously trying to block my path. But the stone path by the pool was rugged. Her footing was unstable, and she stumbled toward me. I quickly dodged with a back step. Don't touch me. The girl couldn't stop her momentum, and fell straight toward the pool. Seeing she was about to become fish bait, I took 2 large strides forward, and scooped her up. I wiped the sweat from my forehead. If you want to catch fish, do it after I've left. The girl gnashed her teeth in anger, but her face changed in an instant, replacing it with a look of being shaken and terrified. She collapsed onto the ground. I was full of question marks. Was this girl's family from a theater troupe? Princess, please uphold justice for me. I met Miss Chu at Wanli Pool. She wanted to eat your koi, so I tried to persuade her with kind words. I didn't expect her to not only use foul language, but also try to push me into the pool. If the princess and all the ladies hadn't happened to arrive, I'm afraid I would have. Princess Chaoyang's almond eyes widened as she looked at me. Chu Xianwei, I knew. Your submissiveness earlier was all an act. What happened? The princess' angry tone seemed to carry a hint of excitement. The next moment, Shen Inoue threw herself onto the ground. Oh, heavens, your highness. This is my younger sister, Shen Ping. I suppose Miss Chu suddenly heard about the crown prince's marriage decree to me, and in a moment of jealousy, it was inevitable she would lose her mind and do this. Please, princess, do not blame her. On the surface, Shen Yinyu's words seemed to excuse me, but every sentence implied I pushed Shen Ping into the water. I can testify for Miss Chu. Just now, it was clearly Miss Shen's sister who fell into the pool herself. Miss Chu risked herself to save her, yet Miss Shen returns kindness with enmity. The 9th prince stepped out from behind the rockery. How long has this guy been hiding here? Apparently, Shen Ping realized this too, as her shoulders began to tremble slightly. After meeting Shen Yinyu's cold gaze, Shen Ping blustered and repeated, it was Chu Xianwei who pushed me. Princess Chaoyang's eyes scanned back and forth between us. Are you trying to say my 9th brother is lying? Besides, Chu Xianwei has always been one to take responsibility. If she did it, she would certainly admit it. Hong Ying's eyes sparkled as she looked at the princess. As expected, the one who knows my lady best is her arch-rival, the princess. I'm rooting for the princess, giving the princess a big thumbs up. I didn't expect the princess to actually believe me. Shen Ping looked lost, like she was ready to give up everything. If you didn't push me, why did you save me? Hearing that, I thought she had a point. I walked straight up to her, shoved her, and said, go ahead then. Shen Ping was like a kite with a broken string, flying right into the pool. Now this time, I pushed you. Saving you earlier makes us even now. The 9th prince let out a light chuckle, a flash of admiration in his eyes. In the end, the princess called over a nanny who could swim to fish Shen Ping out. He even lazily added, Miss Shen, take your sister home and feed her some brain tonic. She can't even tell if someone pushed her or not. Shen Inoue bit her lower lip, looking humiliated as she replied. Then, she hurriedly left with Shen Ping. Meanwhile, I turned and looked at the princess with a smile. Thank you for speaking up for me, princess. Princess Chaoyang huffed. She said arrogantly, don't think I like you. I just can't stand deception. With that, Princess Chaoyang led her group away in a grand procession. Somehow, only the ninth prince and I were left. Where did Hong Ying go? The ninth prince smiled at me first. Miss Hong Ying has worked hard delivering gifts for me lately. I had my subordinates take her to eat pastries at Xiangman House. I quickly took 2 steps forward and said with a smile, don't spoil that gluttonous girl. I also want to thank you for testifying for me just now. He touched my hair and said with a look of deep devotion, you are my savior. Of course I would protect you. My brain short-circuited, and I jokingly said, then why don't you repay me with marriage? The ninth prince looked at me with eyes full of laughter, as if there were tiny stars in their depths. Okay. I froze. I quickly laughed it off. I was just joking with you. Don't take it seriously. The ninth prince stopped smiling, his breath like orchids in my ear. He said seriously, what if I have taken it seriously? I stood there, stunned, not knowing how to respond. The atmosphere suddenly became awkward. The ninth prince's eyes dimmed, and he gave a self-mocking smile. I have been presumptuous, Miss Chu. I am merely a prince born of a concubine. In appearance and everything else, I cannot compare to the crown prince. It is only natural that you would look down on me. As soon as he said that, his tears began to fall like pearls from a broken string. It was the first time I'd seen a man cry. I panicked instantly. Seeing him wipe his eyes forcefully, my heart twisted into a knot. It felt incredibly painful. In my confusion, I grabbed his hands. No, no, no. You look much better than the crown prince. You're kind-hearted and have a sense of justice. And you sent me so many gifts. I liked every single one of them. You're practically like a mind reader to me. Wait, no, I didn't mean you're a literal worm. Anyway, in my eyes, you are the best person in the whole world. The ninth prince looked down at my hands, the corners of his lips curving up. Am I truly as good as you say? Of course. I nodded emphatically. Upon hearing that, he smiled at me. Then I shall ask father to decree our marriage. I blinked my eyes. How did we loop back to this? Seeing that I didn't speak, his beautiful phoenix eyes filled with tears again. How can this man be such a crybaby? Before his tears could fall, I quickly followed his lead and said, okay, marriage. It's fine to marry the ninth prince. If the crown prince tries to wipe out my Chu family after ascending, he'll have to think twice. The ninth prince was taken aback at first, then a faint blush appeared on his face. Even his speech became a bit stuttered. I will go to the palace right now to ask father for the decree. With that, he walked out happily, but then he turned back, pulled me into a hug, and said with undeniable joy, wait for me. The tips of my ears turned red as I gave a faint, whispered response. After the ninth prince left, I caught a glimpse out of the corner of my eye. I didn't know when Hong Ying had returned. She had been eating a pastry, but now her mouth was wide open, and the pastry fell onto the ground. She raised her fist and started pounding on the man beside her. So you deliberately lured me away, just to help your master trick my lady. I'm never eating your pastries again. We just got rid of the dog crown prince, and now here comes a green tea ninth prince. Why is there always a pig trying to steal my cabbage? How am I supposed to live? The man panicked, stammering an explanation. I didn't lie to you. He then bowed to me. Your Highness, this humble servant is 15, the ninth prince's guard. You may just call me 15. By the prince's orders, I shall protect you from this day forth. Hearing the title princess, I recalled the ninth prince's intense gaze, and my brow twitched. I raised my hand. Rise. 15. I paused, then corrected him. Just call me miss for now. Damn it, the decree hasn't even arrived yet. Yes, miss. Dismissed. Understood. Then, 15 vanished into the shadows. That night, lightning and thunder raged outside. Hong Ying kept looking out the window. I teased her, what are you looking at? Are you worried about 15? Who's worried about him? Hong Ying stiffened her neck and said angrily, that big lying scoundrel, he deserves to be struck by lightning. As soon as she said that, thunder exploded in the sky. Hong Ying's face turned pale from fright. She quickly put her hands together. Dear heavens, grandmother heavens. I was just joking. She spat on the ground. Pa. Bad luck go away, good luck stay. Seeing her say one thing but mean another really amused me. I stopped teasing her. Just go. Let 15 rest in the side room. Find some clean clothes for him. Then go to the kitchen and make him some ginger soup to ward off the cold. If he refuses, tell him it's my order. I'll go now. Hong Ying was too embarrassed to look me in the eye and ran off in a flash. I smiled and shook my head. She's got a sharp tongue but a soft heart. She's growing up so fast. The wind and rain beat against the window. I got up and went to the window. Just as I was about to close it, a hand suddenly grabbed the curtain. I lunged and grabbed the intruder's hand, pulling them into the room. Wei, it's me. Ninth Prince, what are you doing here? The candlelight hit the profile of his face, giving him a soul-stirring charm. Wei, I've been to the palace. Father's decree for our marriage will arrive at the manor tomorrow. I wanted to tell you this good news as soon as possible. Then you didn't have to come tonight. Do you not want to see me? The ninth prince looked at me intently. I quickly waved my hands in denial. No, I just meant it's storming tonight. And you haven't been recovered for long. What if you catch a cold again? What would we do then? The corners of his mouth lifted. Is Wei worried about me? am very happy. He took a plum blossom hairpin from his robe. This was my mother's favorite hairpin. I want to give it to you. He gently tucked the hairpin into my hair. Wei Wei, you are truly beautiful. Rumor has it that the late consort Li was the most beautiful in the harem, securing her place in the palace solely with her face. Unfortunately, beauty is often ill-fated. She suffered complications after giving birth to the ninth prince and passed away a few years later. Thinking of this, I felt a surge of pity for the ninth prince. Your Highness, from now on, my family is your family. Thank you, Wei Wei. My name is Zhao Bingqing, courtesy name Ziyu. Wei Wei, can you call me Ziyu from now on? Okay, Ziyu. The ninth prince held me even tighter, as if he wanted to meld me into his body. The next day, 2 marriage decrees were issued. One was for the crown prince and Shen Yue. The other was for me and the ninth prince. The emperor also specifically ordered that Shen Yue and I attend the autumn hunt in 3 days. Dad, Mom, and my brother accepted the decree calmly. But once the eunuchs from the palace left, Dad and Mom sat primly in the main hall, and my brother sat in the seat of honor. What's going on? Are they treating me like a prisoner? A 3-way interrogation? I straightened my back. The prince and my father counted on their fingers. Ever since you saved the ninth prince, he's been collecting interesting things every day. Just to make you happy. I knew the ninth prince had feelings for you. But I didn't think he was this serious. To ask the emperor for a decree so quickly, he's much better than you know who. What do you mean? For this matter. The ninth prince has been asking me both openly and secretly about Wei Wei's preferences. At Princess Chaoyang's banquet, when the 4th Shen lady framed you for pushing her into the water, the ninth prince was the one who testified for you. And another thing. In front of Our Lady, the ninth prince never refers to himself as this prince. He always says I, Hong Ying. Yesterday you were the one cursing him most fiercely in your heart. Did you forget so soon? Did she fall for 15's honey trap? Really? Mother covered her mouth, her eyes full of excitement. Wei Wei, the ninth prince's treatment of you is truly beyond words. Hong Ying, tell me more. I was speechless. This family is a bunch of gossips. Perhaps the weather for the autumn hunt was too good. In the imperial hunting grounds, the prey were all sleek and well fed. The only problem was that the ninth prince and I got lost. I wanted to chase a deer. After all, it was today's grand prize. But we unknowingly reached the edge of the hunting grounds. When I looked up, I realized we were lost. I originally wanted to use tracking skills to find our way back, but even worse, it started to snow. The landscape turned into a white blur. We finally found a cave. But the cave entrance was blocked by a large boulder. Wei Wei, step aside. Let me push this rock away. I was confused for a moment. Is it because I haven't shown off enough lately? That he overlooks my strength? To save him from embarrassment, I took his hands earnestly. Ziyu, there's no need for you to do such a small thing. Your previous injuries haven't fully healed yet. Wei Wei, my body is perfectly fine. I placed my finger on the ninth prince's lips. As the saying goes, when a man and woman work together, the work isn't tiring. I'll push the rock. You go gather some branches. We'll roast a rabbit later. Be good, it's settled. Life isn't easy. Wei Wei's acting, I'll listen to you. I'll go gather branches right now. How strange. Seeing the ninth prince run happily toward the woods to gather branches, my heart felt like it was melting into water. I turned and examined the boulder, feeling for a leverage point, then gathered my strength. With a loud shout, the giant rock was slowly moved aside by me, revealing a dark cave entrance. The ninth prince came running back with an armful of branches, his voice full of admiration. Wei Wei, you're amazing. Of course. We cleared a spot inside the cave, piled the branches together, and started a fire. Then we put the rabbit over the bonfire to roast. I have to say, the rabbits in the imperial hunting grounds are really fat. The rabbit fat sizzled as it cooked, and as the aroma of crispy meat hit me, my stomach growled uncontrollably. The ninth prince reached out and tore off a rabbit leg. Wei Wei, you eat first. I'll do the roasting. No, you eat first. I swallowed my saliva and pretended to be polite for a moment. The ninth prince paused. Perhaps he was hungry too. He took it back. I really want to slap myself. Why am I pretending? I turned my gaze to the other rabbit leg. It's okay, the rabbit still has 3 legs left. Hee hee, 2 legs each isn't bad either. Just as I was about to tear off another leg, careful, it's hot. Let me do it. And then he pulled a small, exquisite dagger from his robe. He laid out a handkerchief on a stone and patiently used the dagger to carve meat from the rabbit leg. The bonfire illuminated his exceptionally handsome face, making him look like a celestial being radiating light. He really is good looking. I dazed out for a second. I guess I'm blinded by beauty. When the ninth prince handed over the rabbit meat, I instinctively leaned forward and ate it. The tip of my tongue accidentally brushed his finger. I froze, and the ninth prince froze too. When I snapped out of it, my face turned red in an instant. The ninth prince looked at me. I avoided his gaze. Why did you stop eating? Could it be you think him more delicious than the food? Shameless. Don't think I can't tell. He's praising himself for being tasty. Eat? Why wouldn't I eat? I spoke while stuffing several slices of meat into my mouth, not stopping until my belly was round. The ninth prince leaned in close, blinking his eyes gently. He pulled out another handkerchief from his robe. I'm really curious how many handkerchiefs he carries. The ninth prince looked at me dotingly, chuckling as he lifted his sleeve to wipe the corner of my mouth. I was stunned, then realized he was wiping my mouth. Thanks, Ziyu. The ninth prince's health hadn't fully recovered yet. Not long after finishing the rabbit, he leaned against the stone wall by the fire to rest. On such a cold, snowy day, I feared his frail body wouldn't make it. I touched his hand. As expected, it was cold. I pressed closer and wrapped my arms around his lean waist. This man looks frail. But who knew he had abs? Wei, in warming up Ziyu's body, the ninth prince's breathing seemed to hitch. His body felt warmer than before. He didn't speak, so I thought he'd fallen asleep again. I looked up at him, only to see him staring deeply at me, with the tips of his ears slightly red. I was overjoyed. His complexion looked much better than before. Ziyu, are you warmer now? Yes. The night passed without dreams. When I woke up in the morning, we were still in an embrace. I gently looked up at the ninth prince. He happened to be looking down at me, but I noticed faint dark circles under his eyes. Did you not sleep well? Could it be my snoring disturbed him? The corners of his mouth curved up. I slept very well. His stare made my cheeks feel hot. I quickly got up and went to the cave entrance. If I stayed in that hug, I'd lose my composure. Looking outside, I realized someone was coming. Ziyu, someone is here. Aside from my brother, there was one other person. I never expected it would be Princess Chaoyang. Seeing that the ninth prince and I were alive, she clearly breathed a sigh of relief, but the words that came out were, "Oh. You're still alive?" I stepped forward to bow, sincerely thanking her. Princess Chaoyang, with your high status, to personally lead a search and rescue, I'm truly touched by such kindness. I came to save my ninth brother. Not you. The ninth prince gave a light chuckle. I smiled and thanked Princess Chaoyang. Thank you, Sister Chaoyang. I heard him cough, and my heart tightened. I was filled with worry. Princess, he's caught a bit of a chill. We must quickly summon an imperial physician for him. Princess Chaoyang's expression was complex. As she glanced at me, I brought the physicians from my own manor. Let them examine ninth brother. I was completely confused. Though manor physicians were certainly skilled, why couldn't we use an imperial physician? My brother stepped forward and informed me. The crown prince accidentally fell from his horse yesterday. He suffered a head injury. Currently, every imperial physician is at the Eastern Palace. I frowned slightly. Are you worried about the crown prince? I just think he needs more practice to avoid falling. The prince straightened up, and the disappointment in his eyes melted away like ice. Was he just being jealous? I forgot to look away for a moment. Princess Chaoyang's gossipy gaze darted back and forth between the two of us. A knowing smile suddenly appeared on her face. Ninth brother and ninth sister-in-law's relationship is truly deep. I still prefer your previous arrogant and unruly self. The ninth prince gave a soft chuckle and took my hand. I followed closely behind him. 3 days later, the crown prince woke up, but I never expected him to appear in my courtyard. Hong Ying blocked him. Crown prince, you are already betrothed to Miss Shin. My eldest miss is also engaged to the ninth prince. Barging into her courtyard at this time will only damage her reputation. The crown prince's gaze was sharp, as if he wanted to kill someone. Get out of the way. I want to see Wei Wei. Eldest miss doesn't love you anymore. Why are you still forcing yourself on her? Although Hong Ying was terrified, she still stood firmly in front of the crown prince. If you don't want me to kill you, then get lost. I emerged from the room, and stepped in front of Hong Ying. Hong Ying, step back for a moment. Yes, this dog of a crown prince only knows how to vent on me. If this were modern times, a feudal remnant like you would have been cancelled long ago. By comparison, the ninth prince is far more adorable. Oh right, I must quickly have Sherwu find the ninth prince. Crown prince, is there something you need? I kept my head bowed the entire time. Are you now unwilling to even look at me? When I finally looked up at him, his eyes flickered with a touch of joy. I felt a bit stifled. I had never seen him act like this before. In the past, my heart would have certainly softened, but this time, it wouldn't. Thinking of this, I said coldly, Crown Prince, please show some respect. I am already engaged to the ninth prince. I don't want him to misunderstand. Wei Wei, I had a dream. In it, you asked father for a decree. We were betrothed, and you became my crown princess. Later, I ascended the throne, and you became my empress. Then, the crown prince seemed to recall something. His body swayed unsteadily, and he didn't continue. I obviously knew how that dream ended. It ended with him executing 9 generations of my Chu family. The ninth prince suddenly appeared from nowhere, and stood between the crown prince and me. My heart suddenly felt much lighter. The ninth prince tilted his chin slightly, and spoke to the crown prince. Your Highness, your crown princess is right behind you. Please stay away from my princess. Shen Yingyue had been standing behind us for who knows how long. Her face was deathly pale, yet she still forced a polite smile. Crown Prince, I've been looking everywhere for you. The Crown Prince gave me one last complex look, then turned and left with Shen Yingyue. The ninth prince looked at me seriously. Wei Wei, don't worry. The things Hong Ying said will never happen. I will always protect you. And the 9 generations of the Chu family. In a flash of realization, I reacted. You can also hear Hong Ying's inner voice? Yes. Hong Ying was horrified. She asked weakly. You both heard it? Yes. Hong Ying's legs went soft. If Sherwu hadn't caught her, she would have collapsed to the ground. I don't want to live anymore. My cheat code, why isn't it me hearing other people's hearts? Why is it everyone else hearing mine? It's fine if eldest miss hears it. But why did the scheming ninth prince have to hear it too? He won't take this chance to finish me, will he? Hung Ying, I have always been very kind. Do you have some misunderstanding about me? He really heard it. I'm fainting. After saying that, I couldn't tell if Hung Ying really fainted or not. She lay motionless in Shiwa's arms. I suspect she's just taking the chance to flirt with Shiwu. Shiwu didn't know what was happening. Seeing Hung Ying suddenly faint, his face turned pale with fright. Hung Ying, what's wrong with you? I really couldn't bear to look. Fearing ID burst out laughing. Shiwu, take Hung Ying away and find a doctor for her. Thank you, miss. I turned and glared at the ninth prince. Don't scare her like that. You're always protecting her. You don't have me in your heart at all. The ninth prince's eyes reddened, and he turned away. Fine, I want to faint too. I quickly grabbed his arm and shook it. I do. You filled my entire heart. Really? Your words have no sincerity at all. I thought about it for a moment, moved closer to him, stood on my tiptoes, and wrapped my arms around his neck to give him a soft kiss. Is this sincere enough? 3 days later, on our wedding night, I couldn't help but mock Zhao Ziyu like Hung Ying did. You really are a scheming man. Your frailty was all just an act. All my schemes are used only on you, my wife. In the darkness, he looked at me with burning intensity. A wedding night is worth 1,000 pieces of gold. Wife, let's not waste this beautiful night.